Today, we go show you how to grow grass and get our weeds.
So thank you for coming back to another video. If you like these videos, please be sure to like and please subscribe to this channel. So for today, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know to plant grass seed in kind of whichever way you're doing it. If you're just simply doing an overseed or you're starting from scratch and literally have just dirt out there, I'm going to show you everything you need to know to have a successful seeding job. So last week I rented an aerator and did all of my fall renovations for this year. And now I'm kind of just in the waiting time as I'm waiting for my new grass seed to grow up and so my new yard can appear. Okay, so you can see here, this was everything I had for this day of aeration and seeding and everything. And you can see here, I had topsoil, and I used some topsoil to go and level any spots that seemed that really weren't quite level. That's one thing. I had a lot of dirt brought in here about a month or so ago that I was kind of putting on my lawn to help kind of level things out a little bit better. So then the day of seeding and that, I brought in just a few bags of topsoil just to kind of go over spots. As I was walking the lawn, any kind of holes or ruts or anything I felt kind of walking the lawn, I could just put a little topsoil down, level it out, and be good to go. So that's why I had the topsoil. Next thing I had is I had the grass seed. So I used, as you've seen from my previous videos, I did the RTF from Barenbrug. It's one of my favorite grass seeds. And so I had a lot of success with planting it at my parents' lawn. And so I wanted to put it in here at my lawn. Next thing you'll see, I've had fertilizer. Now for this, like a lot of times on this channel, I use all different types of fertilizer. The thing you want to know for planting grass seed is you want to use a starter fertilizer. What you're going to see with that is you're going to typically see have all three numbers on the front of the bag, which is the main three nutrients, the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And that's going to kind of just help get any grass seed you're going all the adequate nutrients it needs to kind of get established quickly and be a nice strong lawn for you in the future. Other things I have there is I have, of course, the aerator. Now this can be even options here. You can rent an aerator yourself. I've done both ride-on aerators and walk-behind aerators of all different sizes. They have small ones that you can rent that are like 18 inches, so it's pretty small and compact. They have bigger ones like the one I used here was 27 inches, so a little bit bigger than kind of your standard 21-inch mower, just for size comparison. And then they have the ride-ons that you can rent, and those are a lot bigger. And I wouldn't recommend, if you've never done it before, starting with a ride-on. I would start with the other ones just so you can kind of understand how aerators work, just get used to what they're actually doing before doing a ride-on. Because as you can see from this picture here, I rented a ride-on the first year, and I let my wife kind of just mess around on it a little bit, and we got some big ruts. So just be careful if you're getting a ride-on one. Other things you can do if you don't want to do an aerator yourself is you can just hire it out. A lot of lawn care companies in that do an aeration, and you can just schedule it. Thing is though, at this point of the season, a lot of them are probably booked up. So if you can't get in on their schedule for another 3 or 4 weeks, you might miss your seeding window. So that may not be a great option. Another option that I haven't really done much, but I know a lot of people recommend it, is liquid aeration. There's actually, you can put down a product on your lawn. There's one called Liquid Aerate, and it's supposed to kind of give you the same effect of mechanical aeration, but not having to actually do the physical aeration. It's just a product you can spray on your lawn. Now, I can't personally vouch for how effective that is. I've always just stuck with the mechanical aeration, kind of just because it's fun. It's always a day I plan with one of my friends, and we just go and have a fun day together. So, but those are kind of your options for it. If you don't really feel like your lawn's very compact or anything anyway, then you could probably skip it altogether. You could still plant grass seed without aerating. I just tend to like to do it just because, one, because it's fun, and then two, especially in my yard here, very, very compacted and hard. So this is to kind of just help break and loosen everything up here so that I can get better results. And then lastly, you need a top covering, and I like to use peat moss. Now you'll see most people tend to use straw. One thing I don't really like about straw is I think it's messy and doesn't really look as good. So peat moss to me kind of gives that like soil type look, and it also is a good indicator if it's wet or not, because it turns a dark color and it gets heavy and kind of holds moisture in. So I've always liked peat moss, just spreading it out. It spreads real nice and easy across your lawn, so you can do a nice thin layer, and then you can go, and as you're watering your new areas there, you can kind of see that where it's wet and when it needs water. So if you don't have an automatic irrigation system that's going to put down water periodically, you could just by look at the visual indicator of the color of it and know, okay, it's time for some water, let's get it wet. So I do like peat moss just for the overall look, and I've always had really good results with it. Now, something you can do if you have a lot of problems with weeds whenever you're seeding is most pre-emergents do not allow you to seed, but Tenacity does. Now, for me, I buy Tenacity is kind of the main brand, but I use Terosity, and it's the same ingredient, mesotrione, and you can actually put it down on the day of seeding, and it'll help keep some of those weeds at bay, but allow your good grass to grow. Now, if you don't really have that big of a problem with weeds, then you don't have to even worry about this step. But if you know there's a lot of weeds waiting to take over those sections of your lawn that you're trying to get established really good, then that's a really good idea. So that way you're not having your good grass trying to compete with the weeds as much. So now the first thing I like to get started with is aerating. Now, whenever you're going to be doing an aerator, if you're hiring out a company, they're going to typically contact the utilities companies and have them mark any of your utilities because they want to make sure they don't hit anything as they're doing your yard. But if you're running it yourself, this may not be something that you were thinking about, and you have your aerator there and you're going to be doing it. So be careful with any type of utilities or anything that you may potentially hit. I know for me, one of the biggest things is the sprinkler heads and my irrigation system. So if you have any kind of sprinkler heads that are kind of in the middle of your yard or anything, you want to mark those. I'll typically just put a flag down and flag it so that I know, hey, pull the tines up out of the ground when I get near those spots, so that way I don't go and just absolutely crush an irrigation head, and then next thing I know, I got a lot bigger problems than just growing some grass seed. So just be careful of that. Another thing to be mindful of is, at my old house, they just buried the fiber line with like two guys and a little shovel just kind of burying it down. So they did not get it buried deep. So depending where you live, they may not have done a great job of burying some of those lines like your fiber line for your internet. And so you could very well go and take out the line by running your aerator. I had it happen at my old house. I'm running the aerator. Next thing you know, my wife walks outside and says, hey, we just lost our internet. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So we had to have people come back out and run the line again. For the most part, they should be burying those a little bit deeper so that your aerator's not hitting them, but they may not always do the greatest of jobs. So just be mindful of that. So always know where your hazards are in your lawn. So once you're done with all your aeration, then it's time to get ready to throw down some seed and some fertilizer. So you can see here, I have the fertilizer I used in my seeding job and then the grass seed I used. So you can see here, this is a 16-28-12. And so you can see it has all of the nutrients that you need to kind of get your grass started out good. Now, then you can notice I didn't use a whole bag. So make sure if you're putting down any kind of fertilizer, make sure you go off of the bag rate. For example here, looking at this bag here, this could cover like a little, I think around 10,000 square feet for the bag. My lawn is not 10,000 square feet, so it did not use the whole bag to get it started. So you don't want to over apply, especially when it comes to your fertilizers and that, because you can do a lot more harm than good if you don't use proper rates. So now here with my grass seed here, as I've shown you guys before in my previous videos, I decided to go with the advanced RTF tall fescue, and I have a little bit left over. The thing is with grass seed is you will have seeding rates that you'll typically see of like, hey, it needs 6 pounds per 1,000 square feet or 8 pounds per 1,000 square feet. And the seeding rate will be different depending if you're doing from new seed or if you're just doing an overseeding job. The rates are going to be a little bit different. Now the thing with grass seed is, yes, you don't want to go crazy with grass seed, but feel free to go and put down a good bit of grass seed. You don't have to be super skimpy when it comes to the grass seed. Now, one of the strategies I typically like to do is I will go to areas that I know are completely bare. I'll do them a little bit by hand, and I'm just grabbing seed and just kind of spreading it around by hand to just have it a nice thin layer. And then I'll still typically do filling up the spreader, loading it with seed, and then start pushing the seed through and kind of going just like a fertilizer application, but with the grass seed. But for the areas that I know are bare, I really want to make sure that I get down a good bit of seed there, so that way that I can make sure it comes in really well. The biggest thing you don't want to do is you can overcrowd it when it comes to grass seed. So you don't want a big pile. You want to have some room, because what you're going to end up having is the seed's not going to be able to all get established and compete with each other. And so then after you've done your aeration, your seeding, your fertilizing, then it's time to put on your top dressing. So as I told you before, I went with peat moss. Now, what I'll typically do with this is just buy these blocks of peat moss, and I will go and just by hand start spreading it around my yard in just a nice thin layer. Now, one thing you can do, which I'll probably see about doing in the future, just because I think it looks like a lot of more fun, is you can buy these little like barrels, these rollers that you fill with peat moss, and then you can just roll it across your lawn, and it kind of gives you a nice coating of peat moss. I've always just kind of walked just by hand and just kind of spread a thin layer of peat moss. With peat moss, you don't want to go too thick. You don't want to pile it on. Just a nice, easy, thin layer, and that way you can go and you're not smothering out the grass, but it will help you kind of simulate some of that seed to soil contact that the grass seed needs to really get established. So today has been 1 week to the day since I did all of my renovation stuff. So let me show you around on the, so you can see here, it's all wet because I made sure I'm keeping it wet. But if you look really, really close, you can start to see some of that baby grass up here. So this is right about the time where we typically say 7 to 14 days for germination with tall fescue. And here we are right at about the 7-day mark. And you can start to see baby grass starting to show up here. So lastly, after you do all of that and you're done, the biggest thing now is just to keep it wet now over the next 2 or 3 weeks. You do not want to let your seed job dry out. So after you get all of that done, then it's just a waiting game. You kind of stay off of it. You don't want to be walking on it or let the dogs on it or your family on it. Just let it kind of just be, and just hold off as long as possible until you have to do your first mowing. Eventually, it's going to get tall enough that you're going to need to go out there and mow. What you're going to want to do is just give it a nice quick mowing and get it off. Your yard, essentially, you can call it established after you kind of get your second mowing in. Then you're kind of in the sweet spot to be able to go into winter. So your goal with kind of all of this timing is to try to get about 2 mowings in before we get into the winter season and we get our first frost. So that's kind of the window you're looking for. But when you do have to go mow it, that new seed, just be delicate. Walk easy, mow fast, get on, get off, and your yard will be just fine. So with that, I'll see you guys next time when we get out of the weeds into a beautiful lawn.